Hello, folks. This is Maria Abreu from Abreu and Associates. Welcome to my channel. Good to have you with us. Okay. Today we want to talk about an interesting topic. Um, it has to do with people who don't want to live in the beach. Funny, huh? It sounds strange, but stay with me for a second. Whenever you talk about an island, people automatically go to the beach, and that's normal. It's normal for people to automatically think about white sandy beaches, turquoise waters, but there are people who don't want to be on the beach. Why? For many reasons. First of all, because they feel that the real estate could be more expensive just because it's on the beach. I mean, they could drive to the beach if they want to. Others may feel that beach areas are saturated with foreigners and they're looking to get away from that. Okay? There are many areas in the DR that offer the kind of diversity that you may be looking for. For instance, we have the most beautiful mountain cliff towns in the Caribbean. When you talk about Jarabacoa, when you talk about Samana, I'm sorry, Samana I'm talking about, you're talking about San Jose de las Matas. You're talking about Costanza. These are all cliff towns, very high up, extremely beautiful. Okay, um, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. The climate is very favorable. Okay, in fact, in winter it could get quite cool up there, quite cold. But these are towns where you have all of the advances of a big town, and yet it's more remote. You don't feel like you're surrounded with a big foreign community with a barrage of tourists. It's a quiet life. Also, in these cliff towns, you have the same real estate or better than the beach towns for much less. And I'll give you an example. An apartment or a condo on a beachfront can run you anywhere from $700 to $1,000. You go to Jarabacoa and you could get the same residential condo for about $400. See the difference? And still you're surrounded by an incredible beauty. Okay? And I find that these cliff towns they're not talked about enough. This country has so much diversity and they're not talked about enough. It's like everybody's in Punta Cana, they're in Puerto Plata, they're in, they're in Cabarete, Sosua, but there are gorgeous towns, much more beautiful than these areas, that where you can go, you have a lot of development because they have foreigners there. Of course, there are foreign communities, I won't say no. And you have all the comforts, and it's cheaper to actually live up there. Then you have other options. There are people who feel like they want to live in a city because of their age, certain conveniences, but they don't want to live in a metropolis. They don't want something as big as the capital. There's Santiago. Santiago is like a smaller, colonial, cuter version of the capital. You still have your malls, you still have your movie theaters, but it's a smaller city. You still have one of the best hospitals in the Caribbean is in Santiago. It's called Holmes. Metropolitan Hospital of Santiago is the most advanced hospital in the island, and it's in Santiago. So the good thing about Santiago is that it's a city, but by being small, the second largest city, smaller than the capital, you can still live as if you were living in the country. Very quiet, lights are dim at night. You could still get that feel, but still be in a developed area. Okay? You also have the rural towns close to Santiago. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. okay? And beautiful real estate for way less. So there's so many options in this country, so many. It's a very diverse. Basically, I would ask the foreign national, tell me what you prefer, and I will guide you to the area that best suits your need and preferences. Now, I will say that my recommendation always is that if you're new to the country and you don't speak the language, you go to a remote area, but with a concentration of expats. Why? Because you first need to get your feet wet, learn how the country works, learn how to get around, learn how to defend yourself before you go off on your own. So these areas that I talked about have expat communities, and it is absolutely gorgeous up there. But, it's good because you're not alone. You're able to communicate, people speak English. So in this country, it's good for what I recommend for people to do when you come here, when you move here, explore. That's what I did when I moved here. Explore, spend some time exploring. Explore the north, the south, go to the east, check out the capital. I'm going to share something with you guys. I don't live in the capital by choice. I'm a mountain ranger myself. So I love living high up. And so the town that I lived in, absolutely gorgeous. There are no expats, by the way. I got to say that. But it is absolutely breathtaking, so peaceful, way up high in the mountains. And I lived there for about 7 years after getting here. My heart is there, and someday I promise all of you guys, I'm going back. I do not live in the capital by choice. I live here because when you do immigration, all the embassies, consulates, immigration, Ministry of Foreign Affairs is here, so you have no choice. You kind of have to be here. But there's so much that basically I have people tell me what they want, what they prefer, what their dream is, and I will direct them to the area. So that way they can start to explore the island, and they find that there are so many beautiful places here. It's not just the, beachfront.